Hi, folks, and welcome to Original Firefighter. Original Firefighter is a lifestyle brand inspired by the American Fire Service. From gear for your off days to this podcast, we celebrate the fire service loud and proud every day. Remember, for every purchase you make at Original Firefighter, we give back 5% through our 5-alarm give back program, supporting mental health and wellness for all firefighters. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen, and be sure to check out originalfirefighter.com today. Let's get into the show. Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome to the Original Firefighter podcast. My name is Will Peterson, and today I'm with the two other owners of Original Firefighter. We have a special episode. It is the Christmas edition.
Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas.
For some reason, I'm from the South right now.
Y'all.
That blinking light is just, or on your hat is going to be clickbait.
Is it?
That's just going to be what's going on in the thumbnail of the.
Well, after this
video.
Podcast, I'm going to head out to UPS and land some planes.
Gonna land me some sleighs.
Exactly. Santa needs a lot of help at this time of year, you know?
Oh, you're a good little elf.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, boy. Right away. All right, guys, let's kick things off. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through a number of things that we want to discuss that are very particular to this time of year. It's all about being, a little reflective but happy and fun, and try to, get people to think about what they find special about this time of year. I know that I personally think that, your feeling and attitude begins to change somewhere in the vicinity of Thanksgiving approaching, and it really kicks in, after Thanksgiving. I do have a question for you guys, and because there's usually one of two things. It's either you're okay with Christmas lights and Christmas music before Thanksgiving.
No.
Oh boy, there we go. I don't even have to go any further.
We're gonna be conflicting on this.
We already had this fight, actually. I'm day after Thanksgiving.
The very day after.
The very day after, all the fall stuff goes back in the basement, all the Christmas stuff comes up, lights go up, Christmas music starts, all of that. This guy is like mad. He's got a screw loose.
Hey, I feel like Thanksgiving's a warm up for Christmas.
Okay. So
Actually, I'm thankful for Christmas coming up, so I just kind of celebrate it. But I also put up lights, or actually the tree on first snow. And in Rockford, that can be October.
That could be Halloween. It was Halloween this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, maybe a day.
And so I just leave it up to the Lord.
It's in the Lord's hands.
And
it's his day.
He decides, and he says before Thanksgiving's when he wants it.
Okay. So just to rewind, as I began to ask that question, I got a very fast response from both of you, but now I'm hearing that you are absolutely after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
And Rob, you are July 4th would be fine for you.
Sure.
Christmas in July, right?
I think in years past, I probably wouldn't have cared as much, but it's like the rebellion against retail that's in me. That's like, why is there Christmas stuff out at Target at Halloween? Like, that stuff irritates me so much. I'm like, just chill, man. Like, just relax. Let it have its time. Let it have its day. Let it breathe.
So it comes back to like corporate America trying to shove it down your throat.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah.
That doesn't. I don't even think about that. I think I like the way our house feels with Christmas decorations.
Sure.
It feels warmer. It feels cozy. You put the fire on. Christmas lights just add that lighting in your house that feels warm. You wake up in the morning, it's still dark out. You kind of get your cup of coffee, turn the Christmas tree on.
I'm all for all that after Thanksgiving.
I don't think that first of all, it's work to put up the decorations. I need more than a month. If I'm doing that much work to put it all up,
I'll let it roll to February and then I'll take it down. So maybe I'm just shifting. Maybe I'm shifting my.
That was going to be my
period.
Follow-up question: is when does it come down? And
I like it being up in January. Still, I'm good with that.
Oh, so I take it down earlier.
Yeah.
Because you've already been looking at it for like 3 months.
Right.
He's putting out Valentine's Day decorations.
He's like, these don't go with that. We would love to hear from any listeners or viewers what your thoughts are on that. You know, where do you draw the line at? When do you start to get all jazzed about Christmas? If it's a part of Thanksgiving or not. I think I'm going to have to go a little bit towards Rob, that I don't mind at all that there's some, Christmas lights, Christmas trees that are up at Thanksgiving.
Sure. Just not in my house.
Just not in Aaron's house. But I do agree with you on the corporate part of it.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, and I really actually like Halloween as a holiday of itself.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a pagan holiday. Well,
Sure.
I think they all are now, aren't they?
Pretty much.
So, but I do. I like Halloween.
Do you mean
they're all just corporate promotions?
You don't like the corporate, like everybody's trying to get in the black. All the ads, the discounts, the Black Friday stuff.
It's just a constant push for selling. I mean, Spirit Halloween.
Yeah.
They're now doing Spirit Christmas.
Yes.
Oh.
Right? How corporate.
America's got a lot of abandoned buildings and vacant spots.
Totally.
So they're like, we can do a lot here.
Whoever owns, because I'm sure that there's a parent company.
Spirit Easter.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I'm sure that they're sitting back going.
Thanksgiving.
I'm sure they're sitting back there like, that abandoned building over there could be Spirit Valentine's.
Think of the Santa beards we could move.
Right. This is going to be a great way to jump into, let's get right to it. Favorite holiday traditions. What comes to mind? Rob, what's your favorite or, top two favorite holiday traditions?
Christmas or holiday?
Well, yeah, specifically. Well, this is the whole thing is about Christmas right now, or at least the Christmas season. So we've already kind of established that somewhere around Thanksgiving, up through New Year's, and a little bit after is the holiday season.
Oh, geez. So we have one side of our family, which is huge. Our Christmases are like 50 people in the house, which is awesome. It's like an airport. I mean, it's the other side of the family is like eggnog by the fireside. And, but this side of the family is, loud. They love singing. They just, it's extended family and beyond. There are people that you could crash our Christmas and nobody would know. It's like,
okay, there's an open invitation there.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And
as long as you got eggnog, I'll bring the bourbon.
Yeah.
So it's, but we used to go caroling, and that was really cool. We'd go to the hospital. We'd go to the, we'd just go around to places that, and
as a family,
man.
Wow.
I remember just walking around the hospitals and retirement or assisted living places like that, or just neighborhoods.
That's great.
And we haven't done that in a while. But that was I remember that growing up, and that was pretty cool. So that's one. I'm trying to think of what else we do.
When was the last time that
we always have Santa come by,
really,
for Christmas Eve. And he's about 6'5". No joke. He's done it since I was a kid.
Wow.
And
he would come by your
he
family
comes
gathering.
by. You hear the reindeer steps on the roof, and then he walks in. He sits down. He sings Christmas carols. He gives gifts to all the kids with their names on the gifts.
Dang.
Wow.
And it is surreal. When you're 5.
I don't think I'm going to be able to top any of
I know.
this.
I'm like failing over here. Failing hard.
When you're 5 years old, you're either like in awe or you're scared to death because he's 6'5".
Yeah.
But this was when you were. This is when you were a kid.
He's done it since I was a kid. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the tradition has been carried on to your kids.
Still going.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same
Holy
guy.
cow.
It's Santa. Of course, it's the same guy.
Right.
Yeah, I see what you did
course,
there.
of
Yeah,
course.
of course.
I mean, he's getting to a point he can barely walk.
This is claws is rolling. It's got an oxygen tank with antlers on it.
The greatest guy, one of the greatest guys you've ever met. Just does it.
Santa's got tennis ball grippers on his walker.
Pretty cool. I mean, he's got a elf that helps him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's crazy that you've had that kind of a thing, a tradition. I think that's really cool. I think it's a bit over the top, like in a good way.
that side of the family is over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you real quick. I was going to ask you, when was the last time, don't include like a church service, when was the last time that you saw carolers out? You said that your family would go caroling.
Yeah.
Since then, do you ever come across, do you see carolers out there today?
Never.
No.
Not when you have Alexa. Alexa just takes care of everything.
You can just carry around a Beats speaker and just
People just
hold it outside.
slam the door in your face and turn on Alexa.
Okay.
Somebody should bring back caroling.
We did it as a
Yeah.
church. I'd say just a small group of some friends of ours. We went out. It's probably 10 years ago. 10 years ago, and we did it. It was cool. It's fun.
My kids have done that like through their school though. Go to a nursing home, do caroling and that kind of thing, but not like just on any street USA,
We should do it.
knocking on a front door.
Let's do it. Original Firefighter caroling.
Hey,
I have a guitar.
This
don't
voice,
tease me with a good time.
This is what I sound like when I sing too.
What is in this
Nobody
eggnog?
wants to
Be a bottle of bourbon, like, hey, open the door.
Call the cops.
Okay, so we got caroling, and we got a 6'5" man that dressed like a Santa Claus that comes.
No, he is Santa
he is
Claus.
Santa.
He's
He
Santa
is
Claus.
Santa.
He's the real
Okay,
deal.
all right.
In fact, our kids saw him because he's the real deal. So he was at I don't know, like Festival of Lights. I think he was at the Festival of Lights in Rockford. And we were driving through the Festival of Lights, and he was there, and he recognized our kids and was like, "Hey, Eden, Nora." Our kids were like, "Oh,
That's Santa. I know him."
It was just mind blown. Like, that is the real Santa. Because,
Yeah.
you see other ones in the mall, but that's the real one.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
So that's cool. We have one other one. This is fun. I don't know if it's Christmas. It's Black Friday, but it ties into Christmas.
Back to Thanksgiving. It's not Christmas.
Well, it's the day after.
Well, it's the day after Thanksgiving, so you're technically in the window.
You're in the zone. A tradition has been, and this is again since I was a kid, back when Black Friday was the day of, all the women in our family next morning would get up at 4 a.m, get together, drink coffee, and go out and hit the sales. They were like on the news. They were one of those, the crazy ones in the front of the line waiting to get in.
Knocking people over.
For the TV, yeah.
Yeah.
For the doorbusters. And now that's not even a thing anymore. Black Friday is like weeks.
It's all Amazon.
Right. But they still do the tradition where they get together the night before. They're like going through ads together, and it's just kind of fun. But as the guys, we will take the kids and go out to toy stores and just they can make their Christmas list, see things, and we'll go out and eat. And
Where do you go for toy stores now?
Well,
Right? Like Toys R Us, they're back. They're in Macy's. They're not their own brick and mortar, but like where?
It's like a couple of shelves of teddy bears or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I was a kid, it was Toys R Us. It was Petland, KB Toys. The
KB
mall.
Toys.
It just had, there was all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's slim pickings because Amazon has taken over. So this is the crazy thing is a couple of years ago we were like, Rockford doesn't have much. I mean, you're going to Walmart.
Yeah, since the mall.
Shopco.
Yeah, right.
Costco.
There's no pet stores. There's not. There's nothing except for toy departments and Target and stuff like that. So we've been going out to Woodfield Mall in Schaumburg.
Oh, that's a big mall.
That's like a Navy,
a whole day
Navy SEALs
mall.
mission.
Yeah.
You
It
guys,
is.
You got to have like your survival belt.
I have
on.
actually, for what it's worth.
You tag every kid with an an apple chip or whatever.
You bringing up Woodfield Mall? I have actually parked my truck on top of a snowbank, just because there was no parking space.
What
I drove around
know,
and I was like, my truck can fit up on top of the snowbank, and I drove it up there, and I was like, good enough.
Good enough. And nobody's going to ticket you because they know it's the only spot left. Like how drunk are the engineers that designed malls? Like, you know what I mean? Like there's this nice row of shops, but then to get to it, you got to go this way, then that way, then this way, then you got to come back and then go down an escalator to get up to that little floor.
You got to take three ramps.
I'm like,
there's a ramp to mid-level and then a
what
ramp
kind of traffic flow analysis was happening when they laid out that plan?
It was happening where they were building those in the 60s
want you to walk
and
past
70s.
all the stores.
Yeah, when everybody was there, like, we got to slow everybody down.
People were doing a lot of acid back then.
Yeah, totally. It's going to be great. Oh my gosh.
All right, so we've got a couple traditions from Rob. Aaron, what are yours? What's a couple traditions that you just enjoy so much and still today?
Well, I didn't write these down, but when you're talking about Santa, like we didn't do a lot of Santa things with our kids, but we did have two moments like what you're talking about where they're like mind blown Santa moments. We did up in Lake Geneva, they call it the Santa Cruise. And it's, you hop on a boat and they do like hot cocoa and all that. They take you around the lake. And then at some point you come up along Santa's workshop and he's out there and he walks out of his workshop down to the edge of the lake and they've got him mic'd and like piped into the speakers on the boat.
Why is his workshop there? Isn't it in the North Pole?
Well, it's like a hub. Like he's got a distribution hub.
This is before Amazon. He was the first that figured this out.
I'm already smelling
But
BS.
Jeff
Bezos was like, if Santa can do it, I can do it.
It's not the real Santa.
So he comes out and he's got his list and he actually starts reading off the names of all the kids on the boat and what they want for Christmas. And he's like greeting them and all.
Holy cow.
So it's like, you can figure out how that happens. But the kids were like, what? He knows my name. He knows what I want. Yeah. Their minds were blown. So that was a cool moment. And then what was the other one that I thought of?
Is anybody ever on the naughty list? Like, he just lets them know.
That would be awesome. Actually, I think he read a couple parents' names off the naughty list. Okay, so the other one, this was crazy to me. So City of Rockford lets you, I don't know if it's this way all across the U.S., they let kids write a letter to Santa and address it to Santa, put it in the mailbox, and then it will get sent wherever, right? Like they don't return to sender because it doesn't have a stamp on it. They just take all the Santa letters. Our postal worker one year, and we didn't know she was going to do this, Mo, she took our cards and actually went and bought the kids gifts off of their list and then put them on our front porch wrapped and rang the doorbell and took off. And we had no idea where the presents came from. And the kids were like, Santa got my card. Yeah. And they got, it was like, she didn't have to do that. She just does it out of the kindness of her heart. We caught up with her a couple months later and we're like, did you do this? I were putting the pieces together.
My kids are 28 years old and they still believe in Santa now. I can't convince them it was you.
But their minds were blown. And so were ours. We were like, we couldn't figure out, like, how did this happen? Anyway, that was a really cool moment. But for our Christmas traditions, I was thinking through this. Most of ours are actually about Christmas Eve. They're not about Christmas Day.
Yeah,
which
I get that.
As I was writing stuff down, I didn't think about it till I saw them in a list. But so growing up, we always did chili on Christmas Eve. That was something I look forward to every year. Big pot of chili. Now that I'm married to somebody whose family comes from Wisconsin, it's cheddar soup.
Okay, yeah.
That's what we do now. Unless we're out in California with my family, then it's chili. Chili, we would always do one Christmas present on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I think that's a popular tradition as well.
And it was always pajamas.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like the Christmas pajamas you'd wake up in the next morning.
Sure.
So we've carried that tradition on to our kids now. Let's see, what else did I have? Candlelight service. We'd go to a candlelight service at church. I don't know if they still do those. If that's still
Yeah, my sister Laura out in Wahoo, Nebraska says that they go to a Christmas service at night. They go to I think like a 10 or 11 p.m. mass.
I thought that was like a Catholic thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it'd be be really cool.
I remember going to midnight mass when I was a kid. We were Catholic, and that was.
Do you think there's
awesome.
like an increase of calls to the fire service from churches on Christmas Eve?
I hope not.
Because I remember being
really
a kid,
hope not.
and it was like you get that little wax candle, and that thing would be like melting down on your hand while you're holding it.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
please let the song finish. Anyway,
A lot of no, go ahead. I'll get to what I was going to say.
so this is one since I got married, because this was like my wife's family tradition. They watch White Christmas on Christmas Eve every year.
Sure.
So I've come to love that movie. That's on my list.
Is that the one? That's with the lodge, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye.
That's right. Yeah.
And then I had this question for you guys, because my family always, like the kids would, when I was growing up, distribute all the gifts into piles.
Yeah.
And then we would go around and open them one at a time. But there are families that like,
It's a free for all.
it's a free for all. Everybody opens them all at the same time. Which to me, I'm like, part of me is like, I just want, again, it's like, I want the thing to last. Like, give the thing its
Yeah.
moment. So I'm like, I like going around one at a time, but it's what I grew up with. What do you guys do? Or what did your families do when you were growing up? If
We're definitely a one present at a time. Now, I do see your point. Especially if you have a large family, you might kind of like divvy it up and create a pile.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is that then you reveal maybe like who your favorite son or daughter is. 'Cause, their pile is bigger than
present
the
count.
other, and they're like, "Wait a minute,
Yeah.
this is bullshit." But one at a time. I'd say is the way we go.
That happened to me one year. Actually, we were living in Texas at the time. And my grandparents flew out to celebrate Christmas with us, and they flew all the presents to our house. Like, this was before Amazon and all that, right? So you couldn't like drop ship a present that you ordered online. So they would go buy everything in person, box it all up, and then either throw it in suitcases and bring it out with them, or like have it pre-shipped out to our house. So Christmas morning came, and all the presents got passed out, and we're all opening them one at a time, and like my pile just ended, like
That's
multiple rounds ahead of
That's
everybody
when Aaron
else.
knew, like,
And
you've
so
been naughty.
I just sat there quietly, and like at the end of everything, they were like, "What happened?" Well, a whole box didn't make it to our house, and it was like all my stuff.
It was all yours. Yeah.
So like 2 days later, I had second Christmas.
Oh
It
yeah,
was good. Yeah, it worked out.
We're one at a time, but we have so many kids. It goes on a long time.
Yeah,
It
it's like
goes-
a half a day.
But
thing.
going
And
back
it's
to Rob, real quick, going back to your very large 50 people, are you saying that you guys open all your presents together like that, or do you have your own thing with Brooke and
Both.
okay?
Wow.
So you'll do like
Christmas Eve is the extended family.
Okay,
50.
so everybody's getting a present, but it might just be like one or two or something
Well,
like
like
that.
the kids, you just buy down the line for like cousins, cousins, kids. I mean, it's just there's a lot of gifts going on. There's a lot of shopping at Five Below.
Yeah, yeah. When you got that many
Right.
people and that many gifts,
Dollar General comes in handy.
There's
yeah,
so
you
many.
get a pack of gum.
Yeah,
It's Christmas gum.
bazooka,
Bazooka. Oh my
zebra
gosh.
striped gum,
Big League Chew.
big league chew.
You get good
Bubble
stuff
tape.
at Five Below. I'm not. I
Yeah.
mean, it's legit. A lot of it. But man, the gifts go on, and I'm trying to think if we ever did it the other way. We've tried different things, but I think currently we're doing one at a time. So that's fun.
Yeah, and it fits the conversation. I mean, we're talking about traditions, and I don't think I would know what to do in a household where everyone's just going bananas.
No.
And not paying attention to each other or what. And it's not supposed to be. I mean, let's make it clear. It's not supposed to be about the gift.
Right,
It's
totally.
the idea that you thought enough to to do something special.
Yeah.
Some gifts are bought, some gifts are made. You know, I'll just, this was not a Christmas gift, but one of the most cherished gifts I ever was given was by my dad, who got a piece of driftwood and he whittled a walking cane.
Oh,
Oh,
for
that's
you?
cool.
For me. And not that I need a cane yet, but someday
Was that a
cane
retirement gift or was
no,
that?
it was just I think it was a birthday gift, I think. Or maybe it might have been a Christmas gift and I'm just not remembering. But anyways, I was just impressed. He found a piece of driftwood and took it out of the river and he whittled it down and made it into this beautiful cane.
Yeah, that's cool.
Walking stick. It's not a cane, it's a walking stick.
Okay.
But then he put a pewter Maltese cross in the top of the walking stick.
That's awesome.
So actually, you know, it's just one of those things that somebody made for me and
Yeah,
didn't have
that's
to
cool.
buy it. And it came from nature. So I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of cool.
Have you used
that.
it?
Yeah, I've gone out, you know, just on a walking hike, you know, just
Like around the neighborhood.
Is that
around the
is that what's in
neighborhood,
the, is that what's in the gun rack in your truck? It's your walking cane.
yeah.
He's got his two hiking poles.
Yeah. Yeah. We're in Illinois, so you're not allowed to, so you have
Yeah,
to
you
put,
can't.
you know, walking sticks in your gun rack.
I remember when
anyways.
I first moved to Texas as a kid, that just reminded me. People still had gun racks in their trucks, and it was you could have open alcohol in the truck with you.
Yeah.
So you could drink and drive and have a gun loaded behind your head.
Did you grow up in the 70s?
I don't want to tell you when I grew up.
Yeah.
No, this was like early 90s.
Wow.
You could have open alcohol in
Yeah.
the 90s?
Yeah, they had the beer barn. You could actually drive through and get your alcohol.
Wisconsin was an open container state for a while. I don't know what
Yeah, they moved from, it was just open container to open container, passenger only.
Yep. Passenger.
And then it finally went away.
Is anything open, any state?
Have you seen those videos?
Open container still?
Online going like the old news clip. I don't want to live in a state where I can't have a beer on my way. Oh man.
My Christmas traditions involved a couple things that were leading up. So like right at Thanksgiving and then the day after, which would be when Christmas came, basically Christmas came to town. Santa was coming to town. So I lived in small towns in most of my life, and there was always a parade after Thanksgiving, and it was to bring Santa down to
cool.
like the town square. The weird part was that he always came in on a fire truck.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna put some photos
I've
up
seen
too.
that before, yeah.
But that was the deal. Like it was always the local
Like
fire.
his sleigh was on top of the fire
like
truck,
he
or
was
he was
on.
on the
He's-
he
yeah.
was driving the back.
No, he's just like
No,
standing up
sitting up,
there
yeah.
waving and
Throwing out candy canes
throwing
and stuff,
candy
yeah.
and that kind of stuff. But it was
seen
always
that.
the last thing. So like, you know, you'd get like local farmers would come in with their combines or their wagons, and they would deck the wagons out with lights, and people would sit on hay bales, and actually, I recall in Rushford, Minnesota, there were people that were actually caroling as they were going by. So people would come to the town square, there would be this parade, and then the very last segment of the parade was always the local Podunk Fire Department that had, you know, their brand new fire engine, all nice and wax and shiny and all that kind of thing. And then Santa would be on top of the fire truck. And there's so many towns that still do that today.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's actually a pretty cool tradition. Another
Do
tradition.
you miss that small town rural?
100%.
Because we lived in an area like that for a while, for several years, and it was just they had these traditions that were. It was like, wow, this is cool.
It feels
This is-
good, man. It's like a throwback. There's
Yeah.
some little towns, even in California when we were out there, like Niles Canyon, tiny little town, but it's kind of been enveloped by a much larger metropolitan area, but they still operate that way. There's small fire department. They do their Christmas parade. They've got the fire truck with the with Santa on it. Although last time I was out there, they had like like Imperial Star Troopers, or like they have like Star Wars people dressed up with Santa
You're gonna have to
hats.
explain that.
Well, but see, here's the thing. No, but here's the thing. Actually,
My fellow nerds will know
a
what
feeling. But there's a feeling that there is. I was going to bring this up later, but I'm going to do it now. You bringing up Imperial Stormtroopers and basically Star Wars.
Stormtroopers, yeah.
Yeah.
What did I say? Star Troopers.
Okay.
Combining franchises.
Okay, so we have a
That's a
Star
problem.
Trek fan
No,
here.
No.
Then there's going to be a problem. But there's a few movie trilogies and just standalone movies, and we'll get into holiday stuff in a minute. But sometimes like Star Wars, like the early ones, I'm not talking about the shit that came out later.
It's no longer Star Wars.
No, I'm talking about episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Marvel
Let's
in
be clear.
space.
But those three together, there's something about them feeling sort of nostalgic towards Christmas. I think it's because, and I'm dating myself, and probably all of you, is that you probably got a lot of Star Wars action figures and other things at Christmas time.
I almost
did.
brought them in. I've still got a little bag of the ones that I played with as a kid.
I mean, that was, talking about, presents that I opened and, that I wanted and hoped that I would get. There was so much of it that was wrapped around Star Wars. So even as I'm older, if it's December and they're playing Empire Strikes Back, it's like, I want to watch it.
Yeah.
It's a part of Christmas to me. Another one that's a little bit more obvious, the Harry Potter movies.
Yep. Every year we go through
very
those
much
around Christmas time.
Yeah, and that becomes a tradition of itself where people are, just consuming those over and over and over. I'm going to do a shout out to
Is
my...
that considered Christmas? Like it fits in with
Here's
Christmas?
what's
somehow?
interesting.
I didn't really
Christmas
watch them.
always shows up in their movies.
It does.
It's
Oh, okay.
Well, because they're at Hogwarts, right? And they're like
I think a common thread in these, though, is John Williams.
yeah.
So he did the music for all of these movies, including Home
Right.
Alone, and
John Williams is Christmas.
there's
He is Christmas. What if he's also Santa?
he's the sound of Christmas.
I think
He
we
needs
figured
to-
John Williams is Santa.
He's the
He comes
soundtrack.
out, he comes
to most
out with
of
a
our
Christmas
nostalgia,
album
though.
and it's just his greatest hits.
Like Ho 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 is just an instant classic.
Oh,
just
man.
like
There's a documentary on him on Disney Plus right now.
Is it? Yeah.
It blew my mind. Like the number of hits that he's written.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like most guys would probably, die happy if they wrote one of the songs, or like scored one of the soundtracks. And he's just done so many of them. You forget that he did them. It's crazy.
Here's another one so we mentioned Star Wars, the Harry Potter series, and then another one that's, it doesn't seem like it should fit, but for some reason it does. The Wizard of Oz.
Huh. I would not.
Yeah,
be able
the
to
Wizard
think
of
that one.
Oz, it tends to be shown in like late November, early December is when it usually is shown on
I remember as a
normal
kid, I thought that was
television.
shown like once a year.
Yeah.
And
It was,
there was
yeah.
like anticipation, like it was so exciting. It was gonna, and I was little, so I was scared to death of that movie.
The Flying Monkeys.
The witch, green skin.
Yeah.
Give me,
And your little dog.
yeah, like disappearing into fire. That was
So
pretty scary.
here's
That's
an
fine.
interesting little tidbit about that, and if someone wants to look up the woman that played the Wicked Witch of the West,
I just
but
saw a
check this
documentary
out.
on her.
Check this out. She was so scary to children
Yeah,
that Mr. Rogers
yeah.
brought her on without costume and just her.
Yep.
And so she was a guest on the Mr. Rogers children's show, and he did it so that children could relate to her as just a normal person that was acting.
Yeah.
Margaret Hamilton.
Margaret Hamilton. So Margaret Hamilton came on to Mr. Rogers, and she brought the witch's costume, and then she kind of did like a little transformation and showed how she was, just playing a character. But that's how scary she was for little kids.
She crushed that.
Oh,
that
yeah.
role.
There's-
Unbelievable.
It was way ahead of their time.
They said she was such a nice person that they had a hard time
Yeah.
when they started filming. When she would convert, they were like, You're really nice. Like, it's hard to be
It's
afraid
like
of you.
dissociative identity disorder. It's
But
like
she was. They said she
There's
was
a lot of
nice,
things that are
she was a
messed up
school
about that
teacher.
movie.
Yeah,
she was
there
a
are.
school teacher before that, and they even said she was like, lifelong friends with who played Dorothy? I'm forgetting her name. I keep thinking Julie Andrews, but it wasn't Julie Andrews.
Good Lord.
hold on.
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
She was one of her true friends. They said, and looked out for her
Yeah.
afterwards. And yeah.
But there was a lot of things that were messed up about that movie. They nearly killed the Tin Man with the paint that they
Right.
put on his skin.
Yep.
Her too.
Yeah,
'Cause it
and
was-
also the green that they put on her skin as well.
And she got, like, when she disappears into the fire in
Yeah.
Munchkinland, her cape got caught in the door. She didn't go through before the fire came up, and
Yeah.
she got 3rd-degree burns on her hands. And that paint was
Flammable, probably.
it was copper-based paint.
Oh my gosh.
And not only is it toxic, but they're trying to scrub that stuff off of her hands, which were 3rd-degree burns.
Yeah.
And then they had a stunt double come in after that. She's like, I'll come back, but I'm not doing those things.
Right.
So the first time the stunt double did something, got worse burns than she did. And they just kept going through stunt doubles.
Just do it again. Just do it again. Like, you're not going to change anything? We keep getting burned. Take it again.
I'm okay.
What about, have you
to
guys
add-
done like Dark Side of the Moon with Wizard of
Oh,
Oz?
yeah.
Have you done that yet?
Yeah, of course.
I have not, but I know about it.
Yeah, I've
And,
not done it
It's
either.
supposed to be you start
It's
the
legit.
you start it right when the MGM lion roars. You start it right there.
Third time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then since we're talking about the lion, insult to injury is that the actual lion costume was made of lion's fur.
Oh.
Actual lion's fur.
Those were better times.
So
Peter was born
So
out of-
basically, you could not
Oz.
make this movie today.
You did what?
You killed a lion for this?
No, they shaved it
Yeah, let's hope so.
with shears.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that, wearing like lion fur and being like, put him up. Put him up. How stupid would you feel?
You didn't have to slap me. So that's a little bit of Wizard of Oz history. Just to go back real quick, and this is something special. I mentioned that, and we'll have a photo up here where why I reference Santa coming in on a fire truck and parades and all that kind of thing is because my mom's late husband, Sam Stover, he played the most traditional Santa that I have ever seen in my life. He had the entire, you can see in the photo here that he had the real traditional Santa suit. It was hand sewn, hand crafted. He started to, I believe it was somewhere around Labor Day, he would start to grow his beard out. And he would, carry that through. And you can see it in the photo how good he looks. And so what they would do is they'd bring him through the town square of Mount Vernon, Missouri, and then he'd get down to the town hall there, and then he'd get off the fire truck, go to the steps of the hall, and then all the kids from the community would go and they would go up to him and sit on his lap, tell him what they wanted for Christmas, and he played it to the end. Santa Claus.
That's
it
so
was
cool.
it was a very impressive thing that Sam Stover would do. So just a little shout out to him, and we miss him. And then specifically to Christmas Eve. So you mentioned chili. My mom did lasagna. It was always lasagna on
Nice.
Christmas Eve night. That was just the meal, and then
I kind of like these alternate foods because I
Well,
just
I think
feel
that
like
we're all tired.
turkey's
Yeah,
overdone.
I mean, turkey's way done. I mean, I think this last Thanksgiving, like you always have the day of Thanksgiving, and I love Thanksgiving meal. I've always said that if I was ever on death row, Thanksgiving the meal would be my last request.
So turkey, potatoes, dressing,
All of it,
all the things.
all of it,
Yeah.
because I would want to milk the system for everything I could get out of it. I want
Like
the
you're gonna spend
cranberries and the
30
stuffing,
hours making
the
my
deviled
last meal.
eggs and the yams and I want all of it, and then they can put me to sleep.
They're like, this guy's a pain in the ass. Yams? Are you kidding me?
And that better be a 25-pound turkey. I want them to have to cook that for a while. No, but so, by like day, I mean, you always have the leftovers the day after, but by day 3, I'm done. I'm ready for something else. You know?
Man. Day 2, day 3, that's the stride. Like that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
I could take or leave the actual turkey meal. It's the turkey sandwich the next day.
That's awesome.
That's what I'm all about. This year we actually went out for Thanksgiving meal for the first time ever. I've never done that before.
How was that?
It was good. I mean, the place was awesome. And they, they have the traditional meal as an option on the menu, and a couple people got it, but like everybody got to choose what they wanted. And I had cedar plank salmon. I mean, like the first Thanksgiving.
You're a heathen. Who has cedar plank salmon on Thanksgiving?
Well, the Native Americans.
You're screwing the show up, Aaron.
You went to Greenfire, right?
Yeah.
And they have some of the best steak in town.
And cocktails.
Yeah, they do.
You got the salmon?
My son got the steak.
Ooh.
The salmon was good. But yeah, man, I mean, the first Thanksgiving, they had seafood. They didn't have turkey.
I'm sure there was a turkey in there.
I don't think there was.
There was some venison. There had to be.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
White-tailed deer.
Yeah. I would have taken that.
Yeah.
Would have been good. Anyway.
Let's shift here to some favorite. Well, this could be a loaded question here. Favorite childhood memories, holiday memories.
That's pretty broad.
It is, but do you guys remember a time when you were a kid? It was Christmas. Was it about being with your friends, hanging out, building snowmen or snow forts, that kind of thing, outdoors, or was it a present that you opened up and you were like, I can't believe I got it?
Okay,
something like that.
I grew up in a neighborhood. It was the 80s, which was, in my mind, the best times when I'm putting it side by side with current days. I don't know. Maybe it was great before that too, but
The 80s?
80s were amazing.
They were awesome. Yeah.
And I just happened to live in a neighborhood where it was like every house around us had boys my age. It was like all around, and we would just snowball fight every day. Forts, like we had these, we call them trails behind. It was just like a path in between our houses we went up and down so much the grass wore out, and we called them the trails. It's like, I'll meet you in the trails. And so we would play like guns, and we played nonstop.
Yes.
We were always, I got home from school and I had my routine that I would go next door to Derek Moline's house, and I'd knock on the door and just ask if he could come out to play, if it was yay or nay. If he came out, he went with me up to the Bounds' house, 2 brothers, Brad and Chad Bounds. Can they come out to play? Yay or nay? Usually everybody could come out to play. It was just, then across the street to the Schaefers, then to the McGaverns, and then it was just like, then the Bennetts, and then pretty soon we had this entourage of kids. Every day this would happen. Like from 6 years old until like 12.
I remember back in those days.
I feel like he was just painting a picture of It's a Wonderful Life.
It was that.
Like them going down to the pond and ice skating.
I was thinking more like E.T. All the guys jumping on their BMX bikes, and
it was.
Like, I remember that. Like if a new kid moved into the neighborhood, didn't matter if they knew you or not. You could just go knock on the door. Hey, I'm Aaron. You want to play? Yeah, let's go play.
Totally.
Like every kid was just dying to get out of their house and go do something. Yeah.
Like I remember we moved into the house and we were there the first day. The doorbell rang and I opened the door and there were like 10 kids. They're like, hey, come out to play with us. They were excited that a new kid moved in.
Yeah, sure.
And it was just, man, different times. It's like,
yeah, absolutely different times.
So cool.
I remember you go ahead. You were going to say something, and then I just remember that. So I was big into like building the forts with my friends, and I remember that we would build them pretty elaborately. Like we'd find either a snowbank that had been, and this is back when we got snow. I mean, let's keep it. So I grew up in like Minnesota, Wisconsin, as a kid, and actually for a stint in Upper Michigan by Marquette, Michigan. So there was always snow, and so you'd either find the biggest snow pile where the town had been dumping all their snow as they're removing it from the roads. So you just had these huge mounds of snow, and we would tunnel into them, and then we would create intricate tunnels, almost like we were engineers for a mall, traversing ramps, but we would be in there in these big snow mounds, and we would be creating these forts. And then you would take your gloves and you would just smooth out, so you would make slides that you could slide. You could go up one side. I mean, we got so intricate about it.
That is so cool.
You would like dig out steps, snow steps, so that you could get up to one side, and then it just became this thing where you just like see if you could just get up it fast enough, dive over the side, and slide down these slides through the tunnels and the snowbanks. But yeah, we would just make the craziest forts that we could possibly think of.
So awesome. I grew up, I didn't move to the Midwest till high school. So I grew up in California and Texas.
Oh,
so
you were hanging.
I didn't own a winter jacket until I was in high school.
Sand angels?
If we wanted to do, so I do remember though, a couple of times around Christmas, we would drive to the mountains and go sledding. So like that was my only exposure to snow, was like you drive to it and then when you're done, you leave.
Yeah.
But I remember, I can remember like being on the beach on Christmas Day as a kid. But yeah, I mean, we had similar things, but we weren't building forts in snow. Like we were building forts in trees. And in Texas, we had they call it a green belt. It's like a preservation or like a dry creek area that runs kind of like veins through the whole neighborhood. Our backyard backed up to that, so all the kids would kind of go out there with their guns. We'd hunt frogs and we'd build tree forts and throw smoke bombs and get into trouble and do whatever most of the year. But for me, like, so we didn't have snow days. Like I didn't grow up with snow on Christmas Day. That was all new to me in
high
high
school.
school.
You were out in California?
California until I was like 7.
So you had like earthquake days.
Earthquake days. No, we'd have smog. We'd have smog days.
Smog days.
Smog days.
Really?
Yeah. That was pre, us realizing that we were destroying the planet.
We're not. China is.
Yeah. Well, maybe today. Back in the day, in Los Angeles and the Valley area, smog would roll in, and it was like brown air. You couldn't see. It was like
gross.
fog, and
Wow.
it just wouldn't leave. So, yeah, you get a smog day every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You when you go back and think about what you got as a kid for Christmas, gift wise, what stands out?
I have some very clear, like, things that when I received them, I can still picture it today, the moment. So one, and we brought in a version of it over here. My first BB gun.
Yeah.
So my uncle, Larry, he was the funkle. He was the fun uncle. He always gave, the coolest things. He thought like a kid. He's basically a man child,
Yeah.
So he gave me my first BB gun, contrary to my parents' wishes. They're like, he's like, kid needs a BB gun.
Yeah, they all do. They all do.
So that was one. Let's see. I remember the original NES, Nintendo Entertainment System.
Oh, yeah.
Came with Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. I remember the Christmas I got that as a kid. That was like, the first time my parents let me take over the TV too. Cause I don't know how it was in your house, but in our house there was one TV and whatever my parents wanted to watch is what was on.
Oh, of course. There was no democracy.
No. So the idea of, hooking up a video game system to a television and taking it over for a while, that was awesome. I'm trying to think of other clear winners. Again, my Uncle Larry, this is when I was like high school age. He gave me a trip to go snowboarding. So I went with him and a couple other guys. up to Mammoth Mountain in California. 3 days of snowboarding. It was my first snowboarding ever. But the first full 24 hours that we were up there, it was a massive blizzard. So like snow up above door level, like top of the door. Couldn't get out. So then the second 48 hours, or the second 24 hours was plows clearing all the roads, clearing away the doors, and then blasting the mountain to get all of that loose powder, all that new powder, make it safe.
Yeah.
For skiers and snowboarders. And then the last day of the 3-day trip, we actually got to go up and snowboard. It was so much fun, but I do remember like I wasn't good. I had never done it before. So I'm like learning in 6 feet of powder, which sounds nice, right? Because like if you fall, you're not going to get hurt. But when you fall, you're gone. Like
you can't get up. You have no
you're
leverage.
under snow.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I remember at one point having to like get out of my snowboard, put it up above the snow level and like pull myself up and pull myself along. Like it was brutal, but that was a lot of fun. I think some of the other gifts that I got that I remember, my dad gave me a buck knife. It was my first pocket knife. Remember that one?
So two of them are weapons so far.
Maybe.
They did tell us that we'd shoot our eye out. I mean, eventually it's going to happen.
Here's the last one, and I was talking with a friend of ours recently that's he's a toy collector, like vintage toy collector and comic book guy. Like he runs a shop and sells all this stuff. Mm-hmm. He told me I couldn't find this thing today if I went looking for it. But it was the Karate Kid Dojo play set. It had like a breakaway balcony and all that. I got that one year. I mean, that's about the most 80s gift you can get as a kid, right? It's like a Karate Kid action figure set.
Yeah.
And
I never heard of that.
Yeah. I think they only made it that 1 year. I loved it. It was awesome, but then it was gone. I have no idea where, when we got rid of it or whatever, but that was a great toy.
How does this compare to the pink Barbie set you got, Rob?
I was all G.I. Joe.
Oh, yeah.
I was total. I abandoned, I love Star Wars, but I abandoned the toys because their elbows and knees didn't.
No kung fu grip.
It was like that was 4 points of articulation.
That was revolutionary. Yeah. This episode of the original Firefighter podcast is sponsored by Castle Contracting. Castle Contracting offers commercial and residential restoration, leading the industry in roofing, residential siding, gutters and downspouts, egress window installation, storm damage assessment and repair, and solar energy, saving you money and time. If you want to be treated like royalty, contact Castle Contracting to schedule a free inspection. Call them at 877-512-4207 or go online and visit castleexteriors.net. That's 877-512-4207 or go online and visit castleexteriors.net. Serving Illinois, Wisconsin, and Kentucky, Castle Contracting has you covered. Your home is your castle. Call Castle Contracting today.
G.I. Joes you could actually pose. Yeah. And so I got tons of G.I. Joes. Tons of them. I had everything. I looking back, I'm like, and like I was kind of spoiled, I think, when it came to how many G.I. Joes I had. But best Christmas present was definitely, I don't know, must have been like 8th grade, I think. We got a trip to Disney World. So we left the next morning at like 5 a.m. Flew down to Disney and just spent the week there. That was like mind-blowing to be able to, like, because it wasn't anything we asked for or even thought about.
Sure.
And to go on, because it's a memory, like your snowboarding trip. It's not like a toy that you play with and then forget about in a week. It's like, hey, we still got all the pictures and just the memories and, that was, I had a lot of cool stuff that I got growing up, but that just blew everything out of the water.
I think those are the things that you pass on to your kids because, like, you reference snowboarding, you reference a trip to Disney, and then when you're older, when you're at the age that we are, where you look back at, your children that you're bringing up, that you're responsible for, and you want to instill in them that there's something more than just opening up a package.
Yeah, experiences are more valuable than
the
things.
experience is more valuable. And then you think about how much fun, even if it was difficult, that you had when you went snowboarding. You're like, well, I at least have to do this with my kids.
Yeah,
I mean, they get to choose if they like it or not, but the exposure to it, or taking them, the first time that you take, your kids to Disney. Have you done it already with them, or is it on the horizon?
We've talked about it, but it's a monumental amount of money
compared
to what it used to be.
It's insane. We still haven't done it either.
So much more than it used to be. But it was still a lot back then. I mean, that was like, that was a big deal. And I mean, for us, it was the presentation too, because we were done opening presents. It was like, we're done, we're chilling out. We thought, this is fun, let's play.
Yep.
We're sitting around. Our parents are like, there's one more gift.
Yeah.
And then, we had, they gave us an envelope or something, and we opened it up, and it was a trip to Disney. And they're like, and it was like, at that point, it was probably like three in the afternoon or something. They're like, so just so you know, we're waking up at 5 a.m. We're getting on a plane, and we'll be at Disney World this time tomorrow. And it was just like, what?
Wow. Yeah.
Because we didn't.
That is good execution. There's so many times that you get something that's like, we're doing this in 3 months from now.
Yeah, we need to plan. Be prepared.
But you guys are doing it on, I assume, like December 26th, right?
Right. Yeah.
Which is, Boxing Day in Canada, right? Is that
I don't know.
It's going to be a 51st state.
I got all of our Canadian friends.
Yeah.
Tell us when Boxing Day is.
Boxing Day.
I got
but that's
internship
awesome.
at Disney World later on in college.
Yeah.
And it was, I can't remember this. They chose like 1 out of 10 people that interviewed for the internship or something like that.
You were a stilt walker.
But I was,
right?
I ended up being a stilt walker. But the internship, I did something else. But in the interview, it was a group interview, so there were like 5 of us, and they went around and they asked us questions, and they were like, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to be an intern at Disney? And I told them that story. I'm like, so I got it when I was a kid. I got a Christmas present, and we came down to Disney, and I was just blown away. It was magical for me. I was just pulling this out of the air. I didn't know they were gonna. I was like,
it hard.
I was like so amazed by like the people here and the actors and the entertainment and all this stuff. And I'm like, I always wanted them to bring us back, and they never did. And I was like, and this is my opportunity to not only go back but be part of the magic. And they're like, you're in.
That's good.
My gosh, that is
I was like,
total manipulation.
I have never answered a question that good in my life since. I'm like, why can't I answer every interview that way?
That's good. Well, okay.
What about you,
so,
Will?
well, my clearly my greatest gift of all was the friendship that I have with you. So thank you for that.
Oh my goodness. Hold on, let me get my boots on.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that and a fire truck. No. Okay, so my I am Star Wars. So when I'm all about it. So it was the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, that was so good.
I got it, and it's so big.
Yeah.
And it's so intricately done. Like it looks just like what you see in the movies, and there's moving parts to it.
The little table, the little game table.
The little game table
Yeah.
that Chewbacca, gets all up about. And no, just the whole thing. So that as a toy. Then later, one of the other great gifts I got was I got this bike, but it wasn't a bike. It had a ski.
A trike?
No, it had a ski on the front and a ski on the back. You could sled with it.
That sounds terrifying.
It was terrifying.
It seems like one of those things from the 80s that looked awesome,
Totally.
but when
Yes.
you actually got on it, it was like, this is hell.
Yeah,
It's a quick way to break an arm.
it's a great way to change your sex.
Oh my god! Yeah, totally. This year Will's transitioning.
This will take care of that.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it was a frickin' bike that had a ski in the front, a ski in the back, and you would sled with it. And I don't know where
crazy.
they found it.
Do you have pictures of that?
No, I don't. I think it's Russian. It's got to be. It's got to be. So that was definitely it was fun though. I mean, and again, like I said, I was always in the northern states and around snow and just tons of it back then. There is something changed out there in our climate. And I'm not going to go down that road too deeply, but I mean, there is a difference.
Yeah, there is. Yep.
You look at 1980, and to pick a year, pick any year, there was snow. Now it's like,
I think we're still getting it. It's just shifted in the year, in the calendar.
It is. And in fact, I think this year is, it's predicted to be one of the colder and longer winters is what we're about to get into. But yeah, and then I did want to just make a quick mention that, so I just received, this is just right after Thanksgiving this year, I just received a great gift. My mother was kind enough to, so my grandfather died in 1993, Grandpa Bill, who I'm named after. And when he passed away, all of his, belongings and items stayed with my grandmother, Billy, and my own mother is also, her name is Billy as well. So my mom got her hands on one of my grandfather's shotguns. And it was a shotgun that he used all throughout his adult life. He was a huge raccoon and like muskrat hunter, but basically they would go coon hunting in Minnesota. And he had...
You would eat raccoon?
I don't know what they did with it.
That?
I don't know. But it was a big deal because he had coon hounds.
Maybe sell the pelts.
He had
maybe
lots of them. I mean, like I remember all of these kennels, and there was probably, 20, 30 coon hounds that my grandfather kept. I remember as a kid in Rushford, or right outside of Rushford, Minnesota, there'd be summer days where all of his buddies would come over to the farm and they would be getting ready to go out on a hunt. It was always at night. They would be getting their coon hounds, kind of revved up and geared up and get them, getting really excited for the hunt. And then they would go out. There was competitions. I can remember in my grandfather's basement that there was these huge trophies that were taller than me that stood on the floor, and it was all for awards for best coon hunter, whatever that means. Wow. So it was a thing. Anyways, so I just got this gifted to me.
Got trophies with just the little paws.
Poor little coon, poor little raccoons.
Just raccoon paws across the wall.
It sounds crazy. I know what it sounds like, but that is what they were, that was a thing. Yeah. And there was plenty of, I remember the whole landscape around Rushford, Minnesota. It's very hilly. It's valley-like, bluffs, that whole part of, you're talking about an area that's just west of La Crosse, Wisconsin. And it's just the rolling hills and the very, very beautiful. And so, the farms that we had, they were tucked up into the hills. They would go out and hunt. But anyways, I just got this shotgun gifted to me that was my grandfather's. And I thought
That's a great gift.
I thought it was great. It's in great condition. It's vintage looking.
You gonna hang it over your fireplace?
I'm gonna put it in that gun
next
rack.
to your walking cane,
next to the walking stick. So I have a walking stick from my dad and a shotgun from my grandfather, and they're finally going to go in that gun rack that I'm driving around with. That's not even true.
No, not at all.
So those are mine. But when you think about what you're getting, so you're going through like the traditions that you love. At this point, you probably have made some of your own family traditions. Mm-hmm. What are you showing your kids through those traditions today? Like, what are you trying to message to them when you're putting all this together during the holiday season? Bringing the lights out, getting the meals, prep, whatever you're going to do for the Christmas Day meal or whatever you're going to do. What are you trying to message to your kids?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few things for us. I mean, we do focus on the biblical history of Christmas, and we focus on, the reason that Christmas began, not just all the commercial stuff. So that's one piece. We also focus a lot on just family time. So the traditions that we develop are, about creating experiences and memories together. So that's really important to us. And then just, passing along some of the same things I enjoyed as a kid. So like the Red Ryder BB guns back here, those are my boys' BB guns. So they got their BB guns. When we took a trip to Yosemite together as a family, they each got their own buck knife. So like a lot of the things that, I remember being significant moments for me are things that I'm trying to pass down to them and help them understand. Like, I also think it's really important I know we talk about this a lot, but getting off screens and connecting with the world around you. So we like to get outside and do things, even if it's, walking through the lights down by the river, or there's a few places you can go do that and just experience the cold. I didn't get to do that as a kid. So I think it's really cool to be in the snow at Christmas time, be outside. So those are things that we try to focus on and just keep it real.
Yeah. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I think the big part is, my wife and I come from different backgrounds. So we didn't really discuss this much before we got married, but definitely keeping in mind, leading with the biblical reason for the season. Why is there Christmas in the first place? Surprise, it's not about Santa Claus,
Right.
and getting presents. So celebrating the birth of Jesus. So that's a big one. In fact, when it came to Santa Claus, my wife grew up in a family where they didn't do Santa Claus. I was like, that's a thing? Whoa. so
I see your passport.
She was,
what country are you from?
And her, her sister and her husband didn't do it with their kids. So it was like, wow, this side of the family Santa's not really, it's, kind of just a character in coloring books or on TV, But in my side of the family, man, we rode that puppy out until college. We're like, I believe.
Until I get the presents.
Yeah. So she was like, I would prefer to not even do Santa. And I'm like, I can't even, that doesn't compute, but we're going to have to balance that out. Yes, there's Santa, but we have to teach that the whole season's about the birth of Jesus too. So, and then right now we're kind of like just trying to teach, giving rather than receiving, like taking them out to choose Christmas presents for others and get them to think about other people rather than just making their Christmas list. So trying to, get them to be thoughtful of that aspect. So those are two big things we are teaching. I've always played music at our church, so it's a lot of the season can be very stressful. When you're playing for we've had 7-8 services. And it's just it's nonstop. You're on your feet. You're rehearsing. You're going. That mixed in with the other things where you're just kind of at Christmas parties and all this stuff. So the season is just like how to be intentional about resting and relaxing and just having some peace and quiet and building that time in to sit around and enjoy your Christmas tree. And put a puzzle together and listening to records, which I'm doing now.
Yeah, me too.
So that kind of stuff of just, and my son's playing at our church now too. So he's kind of like doing the same thing I'm doing, where you're you're going. You're learning songs. You're trying to perfect things, and then going to services and playing. So that can be like you're just in. You got to be very intentional, or else you just get through Christmas and you're like, I'm exhausted. Did I really enjoy that?
Yeah,
right.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Do I enjoy it? I love the idea of Christmas, but do I really like Christmas? And so I think this year it's just like, hey, trying to teach them by example of like, let's just slow down and say no to some things. Spend some time together.
Yeah.
So I'm there where you just said we're getting to the point of saying no. And not because you don't. I mean, I love being around friends and having celebrations, and I am very much about the impromptu, get together and during this time of year, because there is all these other aspects where you go into all of the different businesses, you go into your favorite local bar, and it just looks a little different because they put lights up,
right?
And then you're with your friends, and so there's a good feeling about all of that. But if you don't, and especially like this year where Thanksgiving falls late, and then, there's a lot of people who are like, man, Christmas is coming fast. Well, it's like, well, it's still the same day.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed. But because Thanksgiving does fall late, and then you have fewer weeks that lead up to Christmas, and, before you know it, December's over with. And people are just exhausted by the end of it.
Yeah. I think that's why we take our tree down so fast.
So I've gotten to that point where I'm like, I don't want to do all the things I used to do as fast as I want to do them back then. Now I want to slow down a little bit. Sure, that could be some age there too, but just I feel the appreciative side of things more so, where if I get to have a couple of moments with some really great friends, close knit, I don't need to go in 17 different directions during this particular month, because that's exhausting.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So again, we're all so pulled in so many different directions, and we want to be, we want to please everybody, and we want to, at the end of the day, it's like, I think you're kind of selling yourself short about what you can feel during this time of the year, and just be appreciative for just a few things. It's more like the quantity. I'm sorry, it's more like the quality is what I meant to say. It's more like the quality than the quantity of it all.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've already said no to some things this month because there's just so much going on, and I'm not a guy that likes to be busy anyway. I'd much rather be sitting at home listening to a record, or yeah.
So I think that's the message, the quality, and then trying to pass that on to, younger kids, children, just the younger generations in general, and say, there's so much in our society that's about consumption.
Yeah.
It's so, we're just, and here's another thing that's coming, and then it's already here. So let's just say it that way. AI is really driving that home. And the reason I bring that up is because I was just watching, actually this morning, where Target and other retailers are using AI to help people to shop for other people.
Yeah, gift recommendations.
So it's like, it's not even, it's wanting a gift recommendation. So it's taking, and I thought about it this morning. I'm like, so at what point are people just like giving up on their own thoughts and feelings and going like I need this AI to tell me what I should buy my significant other? Like, am I not around that person all the time to at least know what they want?
So I'm curious though that
to mom from ChatGPT,
and I purposely waited because I wanted to just touch on this, because it, I would say that just based on the show that we're putting up here today is that we're trying to bring some traditionalist ideas and thoughts and feelings and values to how we see Christmas. And it doesn't mean that everybody has to see it the same way. We have different listeners and viewers, and you may do your thing. You should do your thing.
Yeah.
However you see it. Some people don't even celebrate it, and that is fine. But we do. I do. Mm-hmm. And if I have an opportunity to kind of just instill a little bit of, trying to remember back when. Whereas so much out there right now is just living for right now, consume as much as you possibly can. There's so much about this time of year that I love, and then there's actually quite a bit of it that I don't like at all. I cannot stand, for example, every traditional Christmas song that I love being turned into a 120 beat per minute track.
Yeah, some pop remix.
I'm like, could you just leave White Christmas alone?
Totally.
Just don't do it. And now AI it's just dominating everything. I think I'm curious about the AI experience as part of being a part of our everyday life. I think I was mentioning this the other day where I'm just nervous that like we're going to get to a place where AI is singing all of our favorite songs to us.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want that. I'm saying that clearly. Like I want the Frank Sinatra, I want the Nat King Cole. I don't want AI.
With the AI, I feel like we're going to get to a point where we're like, yeah, cool. But it works here and it doesn't work here. Mm-hmm. But there's human things that it's just not going to work for. Like
how will we know though? How will we know? Like how will we? We're going to get to a place. Maybe it's already happened. Someone, please chime in. But what I'm saying is like, that are we going to get to a point where we're not watching Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or Frosty the Snowman like it was produced before, and now it's a new Christmas special that's 100% AI? Is that? And we're not going to know the difference. And then I think that takes a little bit of the human aspect out, especially out of the season.
If I were making human content, I would highlight that. Like if I were making that whether it's music, movies, art, whatever, I would say we're going to get to a point where we're going to have to say, look, we're making this and this is authentic. It's like buy local,
Yeah, well, I mean, like, you see that with what is it, Wicked, that just came out, right? Like,
or watching, like,
that was like a lot of what they did was practical effects, and then they highlight that they're like, we're not using CG for it. We built this place, we grew this like field of.
Well, that's what Top Gun Maverick was,
right?
I mean,
totally.
he went out of his way,
does his own stunts or whatever. Like, I think those things end up selling, and what you're going to end up with is quantity over quality with AI. And it's going to be easy, and so it's not necessarily going to be as thoughtful. I tend to think, we could be tricked at some point, but I tend to think that there's, and maybe this is like too out there, but I tend to think that there's a human-to-human connection that is something you can sense. Like, I don't think, like you can, maybe it's because it's not good enough yet, but if you're having a conversation with AI, you can tell you're having a conversation with AI. Maybe someday it'll get a whole lot better, and maybe you won't be able to tell the difference. But I do feel like there's always going to be that there's a difference between knowledge and experience in forming a conversation, or some piece of art or thing that you're creating, versus just knowledge. I think that, I don't know. And we'll see. I think that the areas where you want both of those things to inform what's being created, we're not going to gravitate towards AI content.
I was watching, there's this girl that won X Factor. Her name's Sydney Christmas.
Is that still a show?
Yeah.
X Factor?
Yeah. Sydney Christmas. And her vocal performances, she did My Way by Frank Sinatra. She did Somewhere Over the Rainbow. She did some great songs. The emotion, the way she sang that stuff, I've never seen like that on any of these shows, But watching her do it, the live was just like, it was emotional. You can't get that with AI. That's a real person there. Maybe AI can mimic that one day and try to fake it. But my hope is that as AI grows, right now we're on social media and it's kind of like a way for people to connect, and people are made to connect. Whether you're introverted or extroverted, if you're not connecting with other people somehow, you're going to have some mental issues.
Right.
So once social media and everything online starts becoming fake, my hope is that we go, look, we're getting back to like live events.
Yeah.
We're going to go to this concert. We're going to go to this play. We're going to go to places where we can be around real people because we know they're real people. And then the online world can be what it is. It's going to be mostly fake, probably.
That's how vinyl makes its way back.
Yeah. I hope so. By the way,
Yeah, go ahead.
my recommendation for everybody who wants to make Christmas a little bit better, you don't have to buy something expensive, but go out and buy yourself a record player
Yes.
and play all your Christmas music on vinyl.
Yes.
And it will change your life.
That's awesome.
It will change your life.
I wrote down stuff I'm listening to right now. These are all records.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bing Crosby's White Christmas.
Yep.
Yes.
Charlie Brown Christmas, Vince Guaraldi Trio. They're awesome.
Yeah.
You can listen to them year round. But Chet Atkins, pretty well known.
You played that the other day. I was
country
like, that's
guitar
actually
player.
good.
Yeah, it's really good. So Christmas with Chet Atkins, The Carpenters, Christmas Portrait, Dean Martin. Mm-hmm. You can cancel me if you want.
Dean Martin's great Christmas stuff.
Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. Those are all just like
Nat King Cole.
Nat King Cole, all of those things. And I'm getting my kids used to it too. So like passing those traditions down.
Sure.
It's like, no, you listen to the full side of this album and then you turn it over and listen to the other side of the album. You're not like, 40 greatest pop Christmas song playlist on Spotify. It's like those things have their place for sure, but it does not, I don't know. There's something about listening to a full album.
Records
top to
are
bottom.
an activity and a hobby.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, Alexa, play me Christmas music for the next 12 hours.
Right.
Pretty soon it's not even Christmas music.
Yeah.
It's just like whatever she wants to feed you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why I called it she, but
We call her
because her name's Alexis.
Yeah.
we call
Alexa.
her Al in our house when we're talking about her, and we don't want her to do anything like, I don't know, order cheese curds from Amazon on accident or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, my kids who are they're young. When they heard records for the first time, they're like, "Oh, this does sound different."
yeah.
Oh, sure. There's no
How
doubt.
does that work? Yeah.
I know. I'm like, that's called analog.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. They
It's
do.
just different. We got my grandpa's old records, which are great. You get the new ones; they're clean. You don't get the crackle.
Right. Yeah.
The old ones, it's just like
little bit of that
You can see the dust on them. It's like this is gonna sound like a record.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You can get most of that dust off.
Yeah.
You can.
Well, I'm not at the vinyl stage yet, but I will. I'll come back to that because I'm ready for that. I'm ready to actually own a record player again and start getting it.
so
They're expensive. The vinyls.
You can get on. Oh, the actual vinyls themselves
records, yeah.
are expensive. Yeah, but then you own them.
Yeah.
And if you cancel
So
your
we're back to
Spotify
that.
subscription,
Yeah.
you're SOL. You got no.
The reason
music.
I bring that we're back to that is because we've all agreed that the 80s were pretty awesome to grow up in, and we're talking about reflecting back on our days at the malls.
Oh, yeah.
I was always going into the music stores and
Yep.
either buying a record,
Tower Records, Sam Goody, all
Sam
those.
Goody.
Yeah.
I was either buying a record or I was buying a cassette tape, and then came the disc,
The CD.
And then now we're where we're at
There was
today,
like
where we just don't
disc
even
was in between cassette and
Right.
CD.
Yeah.
I had those.
Yeah.
yeah.
Are they the ones that were in the case?
It's like a cartridge.
Yeah.
like a
But-
really
But
small
over
cartridge.
time, stupidly, I've gotten rid of all of it. Well, first of all, I'm a minimalist. I don't keep much of anything.
I'm kind of that way too.
So I do it to myself. But then when we start having these conversations, I'm like, God darn it. I had Def Leppard's Pyromania on vinyl. And it's awesome.
Yeah, you're
And,
gonna pay a pretty penny to get it back.
Yeah. And
I had Pink Floyd Division Bell in
That's
my
awesome.
bottom drawer. Somebody gave it to me. My brother-in-law
great
gave
album.
it to me. It was sitting in my bottom drawer for 15 years. I didn't have a record player. He gave me this thing knowing I was a huge Pink Floyd fan, but I didn't have a record player, and I just kept it down there.
Have you played it?
And then the first thing I played when I got that record player
That's
was
awesome. That's
and
great.
I was like,
It's such a good album.
Yeah.
It is. I wish we would have gotten one more an actual good album from Pink Floyd. I don't know. I personally don't think that the last little thing that Gilmour did. I mean, I love David Gilmour, but
he just came out with a new album.
Did he?
Have you heard it?
No.
Yeah. I haven't really heard it either. I heard it won a bunch of awards.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll have to give that a listen too.
I haven't heard it though.
Huh.
But when
Go ahead.
not to get off track, but I saw him live.
So you and I did.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we were at the United Center.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
when he played
I
that
know.
guitar, there is nothing like that. I've heard a lot of concerts and a lot of guitar players.
I agree.
And when he hit those notes,
Yep.
it was like I felt like I just died and went to heaven.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're completely different. I've also seen Roger Waters and do The Wall.
Yeah,
I've
same.
actually seen him do that. And it was great. It was a great show. I love that, all of that anyways. I mean, I would listen to Pink Floyd's The Wall on vinyl like right now if you had it here.
Yeah.
But there is something that goes beyond the stars when David Gilmour does his music.
I've heard the tribute bands.
It's not even
and that's all they
close.
do is dedicate themselves to learning David Gilmour. But when David Gilmour plays that guitar,
I think that was actually the rub. Like Roger Waters is like, I'm getting showed up by David Gilmour every day. I think that was actually the riff.
you're never like, I can tell that's not Roger Waters playing bass.
Yeah. But good. I mean, seriously good. I mean, I really did enjoy his concert and the rendition of The Wall, of course. But yeah, that concert you're referring to at the United Center with David Gilmour was amazing.
I've still got the video on my phone. When I play it back, I'm even through my phone.
Yeah.
It was a while ago, so it wasn't a great phone, but it was just like, so good.
As we move into another segment here, so obviously we know that
It's gonna be our first 3-hour show.
We've got Santa Claus and the rendition of it, right? And probably the iconic Santa Claus that we all know comes from the Coca-Cola brand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if we think about Santa Claus, it pops in your head.
Norman Rockwell.
Yeah, it's something along those lines, but that's the classic, right?
Totally.
And here's what I find to be interesting. So the actual, Santa Claus, the one that we think of in our minds when we think of Santa Claus, it comes from St. Nicholas. Probably lots of people know that. But here's what
Only because of VeggieTales.
VeggieTales. Well, I don't know where that came from. St. Nicholas, he was a beloved bishop of the 4th century. And this is from whom Santa Claus is derived from. In actuality, he was a short, swarthy man with dark brown eyes and a broken nose. Here's how we know this, is that a 3D digital face of St. Nicholas was first created in 2006 for a BBC documentary when the Vatican granted scientists first time ever access to x-rays and measurements taken from the saint's remains.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we have a picture of that?
Yeah,
Can we get that?
we're going to put that up here right
Did
now.
he get punched in the nose because he was from a B&E?
I don't know.
I was just dropping off this orange.
That's it. Taking the chimney from now on.
Yeah. But that's going again back to some of the messaging is that these things do come from somewhere. They're not just a Coca-Cola brand. They're not just
no. It's real history,
and we know this. But that's
distant, skewed version of it.
Yeah. But it goes through decades and centuries of filters until you get to where you're at today. This brings me to a little game show time.
Oh man. All right.
Little game show time.
This is going to be last time we did this.
This is going to be very easy. Very easy.
Okay.
So this is going to be called This or That. That's it. This or that.
Okay.
So it's 5 questions, and then there's going to be a speed round. So 5 primary questions, and it starts like this. It's either this or that.
Okay.
Okay? There's no right answer. If reindeer were not available, what other animal would be worthy to pull Santa's sleigh and why?
And you just want an answer?
Just an answer.
How about like a magic camel?
Well, just a camel. That's magical.
So yeah,
Well, reindeer can't really fly.
Yeah, no, I know. Right. So, but if reindeer were not available, you're going to go with camels.
Yeah, I'm going to go camel.
Camels.
Camel.
Do you have a why?
And they
Why-
can go
why
really
do-
long distances.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's fair. So camels, because they can go long distances. I like that. Rob, you
I'd
got
say
one?
polar bears.
Ooh, that's a good one
Coca-Cola,
too.
again.
Yeah. Oh, someone's
He's been influenced.
brainwashed. Real original on the original Firefighter podcast
How about
show.
a pack
Polar
of
bears.
Wolverines?
Pack of Wolverines. Badges. I was thinking llamas, maybe.
Yeah.
Or goats.
They spit.
Some mountain goats.
All right. So we got polar bears.
Pack of Wolverines.
I like polar bears.
All right.
Polar bears are
I
good.
just
Camels.
I was
That's a
like
classic.
they're on the Coke can as well.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
they go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. He kind of knows them, right? He's familiar with them. He's
Exactly.
comfortable around. I go with elephants. And I go with elephants because they never forget. And I think that would be very helpful to remember all the house addresses.
Elephants can't fly.
Dumbo did, yeah. Just needs the feather.
Oh, shit.
See?
The magic feather.
Okay, I win that round. Good. All right.
I get it. I see how this is going.
Question number 2.
He's thought about these.
Yeah.
He's got the perfect answer for everyone. He asked ChatGPT,
Yeah.
what would be the
Strictly
perfect
off
answer?
the top of my head, I would say.
Okay, so if Santa turned out to be diabetic, which he's got to be diabetic.
At this point, yeah.
If Santa turned out to be diabetic, what should he replace his beloved cookies with?
Cookies made with allulose.
That's not good.
Why? They're
Doesn't
delicious.
allulose cause gut leak or something?
No, allulose is great for you,
He's
actually.
diabetic. Beef jerky.
Yeah. It's not like sucralose.
Beef
or-
jerky?
Beef jerky.
I like that. That's good.
I'm going allulose. I'm not replacing cookies.
Just a big
Something
spoonful
else.
of allulose. Cookies made with allulose.
It's like vitamins. It's really good for you.
Yeah.
Apparently, I mean, there's a guy on YouTube that told me.
We'll leave the recipe in the comments below. One
I don't even know
scoop
what this
allulose.
You don't know what allulose is?
I don't. What is it?
It's a sugar substitute, but it's actually natural. It's derived from figs,
Sugar's natural.
and it is.
So we just swap out the ingredients so that he can still continue to eat cookies.
It tastes just like sugar. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't.
That
even
sounds
know
like
how to-
big allulose talking right there.
It is.
Yeah.
It tastes just like sugar.
There's they're doing a lot of studies on it, and it's actually a great appetite suppressant. It's but it's natural. It's good for you. It lowers blood sugar. It's not like unhealthy like sucralose or aspartame or all that stuff.
Right.
It's actually really healthy for you. They're doing. I don't know who they is, but according to the research, somebody's doing research, and it's really good for you.
I went with cocoa flavored rice cakes
Oh.
because I figured that like
Made with
it'd just be
allulose?
How about
efficient.
some like a Rice Krispie treat made out of Magic Spoon cereal or something?
Magic Spoon is made with allulose.
Well, there you go.
Huh?
I've never had this, but I've heard about it, and I've heard that Magic Spoon cereal is
Sponsored by
good,
Magic
right?
Spoon?
Yeah.
Let's get a sponsorship.
We
We're
wanna
trying to
get
get a
you on here, Magic
sponsorship from
Spoon.
Prairie Farms,
Prairie Farms?
Ghost. We're trying to get something here.
Okay. If the North Pole were to melt away, where should Santa relocate his workshop to?
Well, I thought it already was next to the lake in.
Yeah, that like I said, that was like a distribution center.
Yeah.
It was like
He was just checking on
HQ.
things.
You're talking about moving HQ.
Yeah, the North Pole melts away, and where should he relocate his workshop to?
Nepal.
I'm not touching this one.
South Pole.
I feel like there's a lot of good places you could hide some magic camels in Nepal.
Yeah.
Pretty sure
Yeah.
most people are wandering around the North Pole more than the South Pole.
And Nepal
So,
sounds like the North Pole. So you could,
Yeah.
Iceland?
Ooh, Iceland
That's a
would be
good one.
good.
That's a good
Iceland's
one.
really good.
of course, it's all melting away. So
But Iceland's really cool. I've been.
You've been there several times, right?
Yeah.
Or at least a couple.
I've been there twice. It's awesome. It's really
Be
good.
perfect. You can go visit them. Be an elf.
I was going to say like China because it'd be really efficient.
North Korea.
No.
North Korea.
No.
North Korea.
Nobody would know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on in South Korea? All right, let's not go down that road.
it's-
No, okay.
Washington,
so,
D.C., and he'd be dishing out the
all right,
naughty list.
What
all
have
day
we
long.
landed on? You said Nepal.
Nepal.
I'm going to Iceland.
You're going
I
Iceland.
feel like Iceland is probably the best for like
It's good.
keeping
Do
the
I win?
folklore alive.
No, it's Fiji.
Fiji.
Clearly. We're embracing it. All right. Moving on. Moving on. If Santa is ever somehow caught, should he stand trial for breaking an entry?
No.
No?
No.
He gets a pass?
I think he gets
For
a
all of
pass.
them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we already Miracle on 34th Street, didn't they already like you can't stand trial for the same thing twice, can
It'd be
you?
double jeopardy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Maybe that wasn't what he was on trial for though.
Let's hope it wasn't for anything really, really bad.
I think he's caught. We need
I'll
a
have
new
to go
Santa.
back and watch that movie.
He's going to have to pass the
Yeah.
baton.
If he's caught, yeah.
That's a lousy
Yeah.
Santa.
Yeah.
That was this or that. Thank you for playing. Speed round.
Wait, so there's no winner?
No, there's no winner here.
All right.
This is just a collective good.
Good. No, this is good. Yeah.
All right. Speed round, movies. All you got to do is this or that. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation or Christmas Story? Which one? You gotta
Christmas
pick
Story.
one. Which one?
Christmas Story, yeah.
Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Christmas Story here. All right. So continuing, Christmas Story or Elf?
Christmas Story.
Christmas Story.
Keep it going. Christmas Story or It's a Wonderful Life?
Christmas Story.
Ooh. Christmas Story.
I'm going to struggle here. It's
tough. It's tough.
It is tough. It is tough. I do like the black and white. The silver screen. I do for this one, for this particular, and I like it for some of the other ones too. Well, Miracle on 34th
Yeah,
Street
yeah.
was a silver screen movie. So you say Christmas Story for sure.
Christmas Story,
You
yeah.
picked. Yeah, I'll stay with that as well. Although I really do like It's a Wonderful Life. All right, so Christmas Story or A Miracle on 34th Street.
Still Christmas Story for me.
Christmas Story.
Okay, Christmas Story here. Here it comes. Christmas Story or Die Hard.
Oh, I knew you were going to go there. There's one other one that you haven't asked.
I haven't gone there yet.
White Christmas.
Okay. Well, that
No.
too. I'm still going to stick with Christmas Story. This is
knew
really,
this
we
was-
talked about this
Oh,
last
yeah.
night. We had a Christmas party and we were talking about the debate over if Die Hard is or is not a Christmas movie. I think we all agree it is.
Yes,
It
come
is. It's a
on.
Christmas movie. And
Come on.
it's probably in my top 5, but no, I think Christmas Story is still going to edge it out.
I think I would do that too, although I was just thinking to myself, I haven't seen Die Hard in 20 years.
Nakatomi Plaza.
And I think I'm going to try.
Always remember.
I'm going to go back and watch it this year.
Yeah.
Just to see how it hits because I've realized so many movies. I think I'm kind of ADD. I'm pretty sure I'm ADD.
Do you want to
And-
ask us?
I was
Do
gonna
you
say,
want
is
to
that
ask
an actual
us?
You can
question that
ask
you're
me, but I know for sure
The
because
answer is
100% yes.
yes.
I'm totally like when Brooke's like, "What are you thinking about?" I'm like,
So many things.
I'm like, like I got a list of 100 things in the last minute.
Well, now I'm thinking about how to answer that question.
We know you very
What was the
well.
question?
My brain
again?
goes "Did," all over the place, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm thinking about.
But
anymore.
ADHD locks in too. Like you lock in on very specific
Oh, yeah.
topics and you will just like go deep dive on those things.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
but I don't take anything for it, but I've got it. I've just lived with it. But anyway, point being is
Yep.
that so many movies now I'll start and be like, I can't, I'm done with this. I got other things to do. And I can't watch a whole movie. There are certain ones that I can, like Top Gun 2. I can watch that over and over for some reason. But I'm going to try Die Hard again and see if that hits like
compare
it did.
from the first movie to the second? Do you compare the volleyball scene to the football beach
Kinda,
scene?
you
Is that-
gotta
do
you gotta go like obviously I know what they're doing.
Do you do
here.
that side by side? Well, you pretty much do. You can actually probably do the whole movie, the first and the second, almost side by side. They're pretty close.
I feel like they did a good.
They did.
How much can you do with fighter jets?
They did a great job.
Fighter jet school.
No, this Top Gun Maverick was a very good follow up to the original, but they really are very similar. There's just a lot of nostalgia.
It's like they extracted, they chunked out the scenes. And kind of shuffled them up.
Yeah.
And then,
laid them out very good.
They're doing a 3 because it's going to be around Hangman, from what I hear.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's a great actor, but I think that's going to bomb.
Oh, boy.
I hope they don't
ruin
the franchise.
I think,
we don't want to do that.
You go 1, 2, because they didn't change the storyline much. In fact, all they did was more develop the backstory.
They got to get it in before everything's drones, because then there's no movie.
Jet.
Like, just a bunch of guys with remote controls. Like,
before the drones are all flown by AI. Wait a minute. Are we just describing Skynet and Terminator 2 and all that? That's really what this is. Okay, so you go with Christmas Story over Die Hard, but you're going to rewatch Die Hard.
Yep.
And we all agree that Die Hard is, in fact, a Christmas movie.
I agree with that.
Definitively. All right, the last part of the speed round, Christmas Story. So this is winning. Christmas Story is totally kicking ass. But it's going to probably have a little trouble here. Christmas Story or all the Hallmark Christmas movies combined. Because they're all the same.
Sorry, I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. Christmas Story wins 100%.
Christmas Story wins.
What I appreciate about Hallmark movies is taking naps.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's somebody in my family that is like addicted to that channel around Christmas.
Oh my God.
I just can't. I
can't do it. I will not do it. I would rather read the entire original version of the King James Bible in Hebrew word for word than watch a second of a Hallmark Christmas movie.
What's good about it is you can fall asleep at the beginning, wake up at the end, and know what happened.
Yeah, and it will have actually cycled to a different movie already.
Are these the same people? No, I think they're different people.
Let me throw in one more.
I go ahead. I got it, but go ahead.
Oh, okay,
no, you go ahead.
No, if you're not done with your list, keep marching.
No. So we're there's a reason that Home Alone was not included in this, because Christmas Story and it's hard to overlook the Red Ryder BB guns.
Oh yeah.
You know, as I said, I mean, this episode is called "They Told Us We Would Shoot Our Eye Out," and so.
Oh no, I had done it.
Yeah,
I shot my eye out.
Yeah, and there are these movies that they dominate. I mean, even though National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation was beaten in our little speed round by Christmas Story, but there are so many great one-liners out of that movie alone. Oh my God.
Yep.
I love when he's refilling Eddie's eggnog and he's like, "Can I take you out to the middle of nowhere and leave you for dead?" No, I'm all right, Clark.
I'm all right, Clark.
I mean, you gotta just love so much deadpan humor. There's another
it's
part.
Got a little Mississippi leg hound in
it.
There's another. You're gonna want to just go ahead and let him finish the job. Hallelujah! Where's the aspirin?
There's so many great little subtleties in that movie, in so many of these movies. But this in Christmas Vacation, I love when him and Eddie, and Clark and Griswold and Eddie, they're in the shopping store, and I love how they're putting stuff into
the light bulbs.
The light bulbs in, and then he drops a big 10-pound bag of dog food on top of it,
and it's never referenced. You just hear the crunch, and they keep moving forward.
I'm gonna have to watch that again.
So good.
It's the best.
So good.
It's the best. But in Christmas Story, I mean, it just, and again, I think it goes back to that nostalgic.
Yes.
And then everything being very humorous and a little bit of deadpan. I mean, when he gets the, it's a ball. It's a bowling ball. And then she sets it on his lap. Oh, thanks a lot. It's so good. It's so good. But I carved Home Alone out for a reason. And the only reason is that if you like facts, it is the #1 Christmas show in America. It's the most watched.
And it would be probably the only thing that would edge out Christmas Story for me.
Really?
Yeah.
It would edge it out.
Yeah.
Boy,
no,
that would be tough. I think I'm still going to go Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I do. I value the little, the cat and mouse.
Oh yeah,
aspect of it.
As a kid watching that movie, your mind was just like, I could do all of that.
I think it's different because, like, I feel like as I'm getting older, I appreciate A Christmas Story more and more. Part of it is just because, like, some of it is like lost culture of like just being outside playing with
Yeah, for
friends
sure.
and bullies and
Very
like
modest living, and yeah.
all that stuff is the dad, fighting with the furnace
Yep.
and
I'm still pulled. I'm still pulled towards a particular string of Christmas lights, which are the old bulbs.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
And nowadays you buy a Christmas tree, if you're okay with a fake one, and it does like 37,000 light designs for you. I just like the old screw-in bulb.
Yep,
and
me too.
There's something about it.
dude. We had to buy new Christmas lights for the tree, and we always get the warm white. And I kept buying. I bought like 3 strands of warm white, and they were LEDs, and they were all like not even close to warm.
No, it drives me nuts.
And finally, I'm like, I'm going old school with the ones that just burn up electricity.
Yeah. Worth it.
Yeah.
I'm like, and they look beautiful like that.
Like Eden and Charlotte come in like, why is there so much smog in this living room? Are we in California?
Our meter's like,
Just like Christmas.
No, it'll be fine, kids. Go play with your Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah.
Don't shoot your sister's eye out.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, Home Alone, the house itself is actually here in Illinois.
Right? Yeah, Winnetka, Illinois.
Yeah.
just the
We've
outside.
driven out there. Have you guys driven over there?
I have not. I've not
I
seen
took
it.
the kids over there. We took a couple pictures in front of it. And the church that he runs to is also right there, just a couple blocks away.
It ruined it for me because I watched something the other day, and they're like the inside of the house was built in a gym somewhere.
Oh, really?
I didn't realize that. Are you sure?
Yeah, it's not in the house.
Huh.
It's not. It wasn't filmed.
They just
in the
shot
house.
the outside.
It's
That
just the
house,
outside of the house. The
yeah.
inside probably doesn't look like that, or maybe it.
That's the same thing with, well, I'm sure it's that way for a lot of things. Cheers comes to mind.
Oh, yeah.
The outside of the bar
I remember
is
going
in Boston, but then they just built a set,
I want to.
My mind was- I was so disappointed with that in
because
the
I don't want to be
90s.
wrong.
I was too.
we took a tour around Boston, and they're like, yeah, there is a Cheers bar here, but
Right.
it's not Cheers bar. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I've been lied to my
Yep.
whole life. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually been inside. I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about. And you go inside and you're like, this doesn't look
Yeah, I
anything
know.
like it. Yeah. But while he's looking that up, so here's another way to go with things, which is to get into the cartoons real quick.
Okay.
For what it's worth, so Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer
The claymation.
is 60 years old on TV. It premiered December 6th, 1964.
I still like that one.
Yeah. And so it's been on TV for 60 years. It originally first came out, it was introduced as a children's story in 1939. And I always look at dates like that and I'm like, think about what was going on in this.
Rewind again. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was fact checking myself.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which I was right. It was built in a gym. Rewind just a second.
That was
'cause
Home Alone, built in a gym, the set.
Yeah,
in a
the
gym.
inside of the house was in
Yeah.
a gym.
Yeah. So
That's disappointing on many
meh.
levels. Because that house actually went up for sale a couple years ago.
really?
Yeah. But it was like a couple mil to buy that.
Everybody's like, wait a minute, this doesn't
And-
look like the Home Alone.
But they also
And so
like
get
they were
inside.
having a hard time selling it, and so they did a big giveaway where you could register to get. They like registered it as an Airbnb for one night. You could get a night. They gave away one night in the Home Alone house, and it was the same year they released the Home Alone Lego set.
Oh,
So you would get the Lego set before it hit the market.
I kind of feel like that would be a boring Lego set.
It's not.
Really?
Yeah.
In comparison to all the Star Wars Lego sets there are? You're building a house.
We're going nerd now.
you're building a house.
Better
They're
pull it
building a
back.
house.
Better pull it
Have
back.
you seen the Millennium
think about,
Falcon?
think about how many think about how many moving parts there were in that house. when he set up all the
it's got all the
paint
traps.
buckets
open
and
up-
the
It's got
Yeah.
all the
You
traps.
open up the house and it, okay.
yeah. You're not just
That could be
building the
cool.
outside of the house. You're
That's
building-
what I was thinking.
'Cause I was going to be like, I could just do that with Lincoln logs.
Lincoln logs, Grandpa.
Hey, it's Christmas edition over
I
here.
could carve that out of driftwood.
As soon as I get back from hunting these coons, I'm gonna build myself a Lincoln log
My dad
house.
walked in, threw me a pack of cigarettes, says, "Smoke up, kids.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great Christmas."
Merry Christmas.
So Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, for Rob, for your benefit, is that it is 60 years old on TV.
Okay.
Premiered in December of 1964, but it was first introduced as a children's story in 1939.
Gotcha.
And like I said, that kind of just, when I see a date like that, 1939, think about what was going on in the world.
Yeah.
Hitler was
World War
on his
II.
way. Yeah.
You know, I mean, and then here comes out this children's story that, gains popularity and, and then Rudolph is now a part of the culture. So now I have a question, Rudolph or Frosty?
Rudolph.
Frosty.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Frosty or Charlie Brown?
Charlie Brown.
Okay. Charlie Brown or the Grinch?
Charlie
The
Brown.
original, not James.
Charlie Brown.
Jim
Charlie
Carrey.
Brown. Charlie Brown.
Charlie
Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah.
There's something that's very special about Charlie Brown. So that's this or that. That was kind of a longer segment than I thought, but we had a lot of fun. As we start to kind of wind this down, what do you guys think is the most important message for everybody out there in the world today for Christmas and the season? What's the message that you would want to instill or be a part of? Even, what message would you want to be a part of today?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of ways I could go with this, but to simplify it, when you think about the true meaning of Christmas and what it meant for, Jesus' birth and the reason for that and everything that went along with it, I think an easy thing for us to do is just to put other people first. So don't focus on ourselves. Value others more than you value yourself, and live your life that way. I think it's a good message for Christmas time.
Yeah. Rob?
Yeah, I think it's hope. I think it's just again, it's back to the message of Christianity. We live our lives looking at what the world is doing and what leaders are doing what. Where's our economy going? Where's our country going? Where's the world going? And putting our hope in that. And I think at the end of the day, all nations fall. Leaders fall, people fail. And I think when you kind of pull back your expectations of the world and find your hope in Christ, who was born during, that's what we're celebrating, is the birth of Christ. Your expectation is no longer in being saved by humanity, because it ain't going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's being saved by God. And I think that gives you peace that most people lose during the season. If you focus back in on that, that's what you're looking for, is that peace, that calm inside. And I think that's, I think people I see a lot more people coming back around to that, which is good.
Well, I can't top either one of those. So I think the most important message at this time is fire safety. So control your candles. Don't deep fry a turkey that's frozen still.
Douse your fireplace before Santa comes down.
Douse your, make sure that fireplace has been cleaned out and safe. I've had a great time with you guys on this episode. I hope you guys that are listening and viewing have had a great time going down memory lane with us, had some few laughs, and all that's left now is for us to go out and to light the Christmas tree. So be safe, everyone.
You have one job. Pick the city Christmas tree.
Yep. It's all the city manager would budget for.
Well, let's light it.
It was an ugly tree anyway.
We'll do better next year.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year from Original Firefighter.